Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM in our United States.FM network. Final hour, the hour about love. I tell you something. One thing I love the most, my opinion, it's freedom. We know that. And I said many times, when we do not infringe on somebody else's rights, we do not endanger anybody else. That's for me where I really draw the line, and I get so mad when somebody tries to tell me how to live my life. Let me be more specific, otherwise you may think I'm crazy. So what is he talking right now? Yes, I'm talking that at the end, the most important piece of real estate that we own, since the moment when we are born, it is not like the house or your castle or your mansion or whatever many properties you may have. No, it is your body, okay? That's the bottom line. That's something that should be given us to any one of us out there. I don't care where you're from. I don't care how rich you are. You have one thing that nobody should take over. No government, no majority, no mob mentality. It is your body. You're supposed to be the Lord of your body. If you believe in God, that's another story. Your God is going to be your master. But if you do not believe in God, you're supposed to be in charge. That's the bottom line. When I see out there people and governments getting together, or more important, people giving power to governments through the mob mentality, the 51% of the people sitting down say, you know what? We don't like that you do that. How dare you do that in the privacy of your home? How can dare you to grow a plant? Because we don't like the plant. It's a forbidden plant. Or whatever other stupid ideas they have. They get together, they got a 51%, and they can vote on that type of, let's say, proposition. And at the end of the day, through the vote, they can deny your freedom. That for me where I go really crazy. Okay? Now let me specify more so people hopefully I'm making sense. Proposition 205 in Arizona just a few days ago was on the ballot. And of course, and I say of course, I would like to say maybe not of course, but anyway, it didn't make it. It was voted no. Now, this was a very important proposition, in my opinion, because beyond the medical use of marijuana, that I really believe there is a lot to talk about that, this is like a step forward, freedom. The idea that as a human being, that I'm not endangering others, I should be free to smoke, forget about marijuana, I should be able to smoke poison from a rat poison if I want to, if I can do it in the privacy and safety of my home or an environment where I do not endanger others. That's the idea. Now, very important, I do not even smoke, but I got somebody here who smokes or at least enjoys marijuana. And that's the bottom line. It is not about me. It is about, as said before, freedom. It's about the idea that the majority, the mob, and the government, of course, because they always have some special interest, they should not dictate what I do in the privacy and in the safety of my life. That's the bottom line. So I say, thank God I do not smoke marijuana. I do not like it, because if I like it, I would be probably spending most of my time in prison, because I refuse the idea that to grow a freaking plant in my own house, to smoke it or just to admire it, I need to have a freaking permit. I mean, seriously, think about it. I can grow basil, I can grow sage, but if I grow, God forbid, if I grow marijuana, even just for, let's say, just to look at that, I would be probably losing my home. There, I would be raided, treated like a hardcore criminal, and ending up. Anyway, now let's go to the point. Prop 205 didn't make it, but let's bring one on the show, one person that I really respect a lot because he puts a lot of his time and money and really just energy out there to try to educate people about we have the right, even if we don't want to use it, to smoke whatever we want. And in this case, it's a plant in the privacy of our life. And of course, as treated as the same as alcohol, that by the way is much more addictive and is much more dangerous, or at least we have numbers how many people are dying of alcohol every day. So let me bring this guy that is not a guy, he's a friend of mine, he's also a Facebook friend, Dennis Bohlke. Dennis, are you there from Phoenix?
I sure am. How's my audio?
Okay, it's great. I hear you very well.
Oh, good. You know, I've been hearing you on your talk, and you know, the Prop 205 is not completely ready to throw in the towel.
Oh, good. Give me more heads up information. Go ahead.
And on election night, we were about 80,000 votes behind of about 2 million votes that were cast. Those were all election day voting. At that point, none of the mail-in ballots had been counted yet. And in Maricopa County, there's about 600,000 ballots that have yet to be counted.
Wow.
Or that are in the process of counting. And you know, every ballot has an envelope, and they can only open up about 100,000 envelopes a day.
Wow.
If you can imagine a stack of envelopes that you got to open up. So they won't have a final count until the 18th of November is what the final word is that I heard.
Okay.
So
there is hope.
So you know, it's a long shot. There has to be some boxes of ballots that it's a 2-to-1 in it, that there's 2 yeses for 1 no. And it has to make up for the 80,000 vote difference. The medical marijuana, when it was in this situation, was about 6,000 or 7,000 votes behind.
Okay.
And it pulled it off. So, you know, it's bleak, but it's not out of the game yet.
Okay. At least we are not dead yet. We are not dead. There is still hope.
There's still hope. You know, the smart people voted by mail-in ballots. So I'm hoping for smart people.
I hope that everybody becomes smart, at least to understand they should respect each other's right. Because this is for me, you know, as I said, I do not smoke. Honestly, I can't even stand the smell, okay? But this should also make people more think about it. I mean, this is not about me smoking. This is about me saying, hey, it is none of my business what you do, you, Dennis, in the privacy of your home. For example, you know, we're supposed to be free human beings, okay? I enjoy beer or I enjoy wine, okay? That's my favorite thing. I enjoy organic wine. And, you know, I know very well the rules, and I also, not because they are the laws, I do also because I'm a decent human being. I never drink and drive. I do always in the respect of others. I could use a bottle of wine or I could use, I don't know, a couple of joints. That's my right. I don't want to hear anymore about the medical marijuana is for medical purposes. That's fine. That's true. But maybe people want just to enjoy life and have their time smoking whatever they can afford. And, you know, it's a plant after all. I'm not even asking like to treat it like another type of drug. We are talking now apples with apples. And, you know, I don't want to start to say, oh, what do you think about meth? You know, I can tell you what I think about that separately. Right now we are talking about a plant, an unprocessed plant. Okay, government should have no business to tell me what type of plants I should grow, eat, smoke, or whatever. You know, having a tea with that. So that's things that drive me crazy, especially when I see this opportunity for the government, and more important for politicians that they're on the payroll of corporations, to use also, you know, this mentality that, democracy, 51%, we decided this is not good. Screw you. This is not a democracy. It's supposed to be a constitutional republic. Same story, I'm afraid, when it comes down to our gun rights. Now we're talking about another type of right. It is our body rights, our freedom to be free and to be happy. So I give you the floor and I shut up because I'm getting mad on this. Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, a lot of people may not realize it, but in Arizona, there's an underground black market of marijuana that could be projected up to almost $3.2 billion is being exchanged every year.
Wow.
And, you know, what we're missing out on is almost $500 million in tax money that could be easily levied against this market in this exchange of product for money. We have right now in the state of Arizona, we have an average of about 12 to 14,000 people being arrested every year for marijuana. And Arizona is the last state in the union where any amount of marijuana is a felony charge.
Wow.
And this is relegating a lot of young people to, brushes up with the law, and the arrests never go away.
Yeah, that's true.
You can fight it. You can get it reduced to a misdemeanor. And when they reduce it to a misdemeanor, you're admitting that you were guilty of owning a controlled substance unless you follow through with probation.
It's terrible.
Right now in Arizona, we have about 42,000 people in the prisons on any given night. And we also have about the same amount in county jails.
Gee.
Now, often the opposition will argue that there is no buddy really in prison, that there's only like 96 people in prison. Well, the people that are in prison are the people that could not get through their probation, which is to pass a Tinkle test for a year or so.
And also costs money, by the way. Probation you have to pay.
Yeah, we are living in one of the most corrupt states in the United States. And what's happening is that this law, the marijuana law, ARS 341305, is creating a $55 million shakedown of Arizona citizens.
Yeah.
Every one of, in 2015, 16,000 people were arrested for marijuana possession, just simply possession. To avoid the felony charges and have it plead down to a $3,500 misdemeanor fee, they went through a drug diversionary program called TASK, and they paid fines and fees.
Wow.
And they had to have their urine tested for probably 6 months or maybe up to a year, and they had to pay for all that.
Yeah.
That cost comes out to about $3,500 minimum per each one of those 16,000 people. And that, if you add it up, comes up to a $55 million shakedown. Now, what I found interesting in my research is, we've had to have propositions that go forward to get this on the ballot. And in my adventures, I have gone and visited the legislature and had appointments with 21 legislative representatives trying to find out why we could get the bill, get a reduction in a harm reduction bill where a small amount would not be a felony.
Yeah.
And we ran into the chairmen of the Judiciary Committee.
Who is he?
Eddie Farnsworth, number one, said over his dead body that he would make changes to the marijuana laws.
Of course.
And that really, and then that's in the House of Representatives. And maybe a lot of people don't know that in our state legislature, they're serving on term limitations of 4 consecutive terms. So we have some hope in the future because Eddie timed out on this. He term limited out. So he's losing his chairman of the Judiciary Committee. So maybe we'll get a new Judiciary Committee.
I have a question. Can I ask you something? We're talking about, of course, Arizona politicians here, right? And we can see a connection, at least according to my research. Many of these politicians who are against I don't want to call it legalization. I would like to call it decriminalization because, a plant should always be legal, okay? But regardless, most of these politicians, according to my research, they have a great influence, or at least they have great connections and good benefits coming from corporations, for example, in the private private prison business, number one. And then, of course, they're always behind the big endorsement by a union of the guards. And more important, forget about the unions. I'm talking about the law enforcement organizations. Because let's not forget also the sort of this law that police department, they can benefit without due process to confiscate your property just because they find on your property, in your home, or maybe in your car, any amount of drugs. Could be a little plant, could be whatever. They have the type of power to confiscate your property without due process, completely against our Constitution. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're absolutely right. The county attorneys are just raking in the money with civil forfeitures, where they can take your car
Mm-hmm.
if they find a seed on the floorboard, or if they
Wow.
find roach in the car, and even without any chemical analysis. I mean, it could be a completely different seed.
Wow.
It's a method of cultural cleansing
Yeah.
that
Scary.
our state is using.
Scary. And let's not forget, I mean, you know, there are, of course, also the bad cops that they may maybe drop a seed, okay? I mean, I'm not saying every cop would do that, but you know what? When you give the type of unlimited power, guess what? Can be abused. And
Yes.
and the sad thing, you know, guys, listeners, this is not about drugs. This is not about marijuana. This is about due process. Think about it. If we really believe in the Constitution, if we really believe in due process, in limited government, how much power we are giving to a human being, to an individual that we know they are corruptible. Everybody is corruptible. The moment that you are a human being, you are corruptible, okay? They are good human beings. They are medium. The point is, we cannot give that power to anybody to destroy your life just because they find a seed or maybe they plant a little leaf of something. That's ridiculous. Everybody should have at least the right to defend themselves in front of the court of law, and after you're found guilty, maybe you need to pay the consequences for this stupid law. But regardless, at least you deserve your day on trial, and they make you guilty before even you got the day on trial. That's the scary thing.
Well, one of the scary things is one of the most fiendish opponents to our proposition changing the laws is Bill Montgomery from Maricopa County attorney.
Uh-huh.
When you dig down, you find out that for every marijuana arrest and diversion to task, which we talked about the money before, his office receives $650.
Wow.
And he arrests and prosecutes approximately 6,000 individuals each year.
Oh my gosh.
That comes out to about $3.9 million that he's receiving from benefits to his office. I mean, I got to say, it's not into his pocket, but he must have some heck of an office party.
Yeah. No, this is very sad. That's why I say, listen, for me, this is one of the most important topics, along with freedom of speech and, of course, the Second Amendment. Because the moment that a government can tell you what you can eat or you cannot eat, what you can drink or cannot drink, what you can smoke or cannot smoke, especially when you obey the basic rule, the golden rule, you are not endangering anybody else. At that point, if I want my mom tell me, Luca, you shouldn't smoke, that's my mom. My mom is allowed to do that. But no government, no mob mentality, no majority can tell me what I do in the privacy and safety of my home or my environment. But that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And that's why I get completely also, I understand this proposition is an attempt to bring some logic and try to bring some, little benefits and to remove this travesty that they're doing. But at the same time, I also hate the idea of the proposition because I never should put on the ballot my right. That is my natural right. Is your natural right, as I said, to own your body. That's
we're living in the Jim Crow law era.
Yes.
The laws are turning people into criminals just because they have a bad habit.
Exactly.
And what how we move on from this, we're trying to work within the constrictions of the law and the Constitution of Arizona.
Yes.
And we have a marvelous Western Constitution. Our Constitution of Arizona, the old cowboys that started this state up didn't really trust the government a whole lot.
Yeah.
And they put in the initiative as a progressive idea. That goes back to Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
And Teddy Roosevelt loved this state. And another thing that they did for us is they put our legislature only on 2-year terms. Every year, our legislature, every one of the members is up for election.
Yes. That part is good. That part is very good. And there are term limits. We have term limits, thank God, at least that.
Yes, we have term limits, and the people of this state have a tremendous amount of power. We only have 90 members of our legislature.
Yes.
That is a lot different than Pennsylvania, where they may have 480 members of their legislature.
That's true.
So the power, the Achilles heel in our state for the state government is actually the legislature. And the logistics of having a political say in this state makes it very possible for individuals like you yourself, who I admire greatly, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
can play a very large part in our state politics. And we can actually do something about this.
I agree. I mean, we are responsible of our own future and present. That's the reality. That's the beautiful thing about Arizona. We are here. We can talk to these people. They are like, they come back home 6 months of the year, out of the year, they come back to our district. And we have at least a chance to communicate. There are some other states that are much more insulated, and they have this position like a permanent position almost, be a politician. So this is very important. And my goal is very simple here. I would like to use whatever I can here, my humble radio show, to at least make people think about for a moment. Especially for people that normally they call themselves the conservative constitutionalists, okay? People that they are mostly in the Republican Party, or what they used to be the Republican Party. If you really believe in freedom, if you really believe that with freedom comes responsibility, if you think that the Taliban is bad, okay? Because after all, hey, you can drink alcohol in Saudi Arabia. You cannot drink alcohol under the Taliban. That's very bad. Yes, I agree. I don't think we should live under the Taliban. Morality should have been legislated. And when they tried the experiment, of course, during the prohibition, at least they passed a freaking constitutional amendment that was still wrong, but it didn't work. But at least they went that far. Now we have a prohibition of a plant that is more than just a prohibition, is an enslavement to us, to whoever comes after us, and to our sons and daughters, that they can become felons just because somebody can set them up. They can
you send your kid off to school and have them, you pick them up at the police station.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. This is not the America we're supposed to live. And more important, the golden rule. Right now, for example, I'm here in my studio, and I have in front of me a bottle of wine, okay? Am I endangering anybody? No. If anybody may not like alcohol, too bad. You don't need to drink it. I'm drinking it, okay? That's my right. So screw you. If you have your religion believe that alcohol is bad, I'm not forcing you to drink it. It is my body. It is my soul. Leave me the heck alone. That's the way it should be. Now, I know very well that if I do the not mistake, the negligence, and the infringing the law to drive after I drink my couple of glasses of wine and I result that I have too much alcohol, that I get punished, and that's the way it should be, okay? Because I'm endangering other people.
That's one of the issues with the marijuana in the state of Arizona is any amount of THC found in your body, psychoactive, any trace, there's no limit to how small it is, can get you a DUI in this state.
Wow.
And a DUI conviction for marijuana possession or marijuana under the influence of marijuana gets you a 1-year suspended license.
Oh my God.
But if it's for alcohol, it's 90 days.
Oh my God. Wait a second.
You can be convicted and be totally sober. I mean, and not impaired at all. Professional sports players imbibe and use marijuana before they compete.
All I know that you can have residual even if you smoke the night before. I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but I know that you can smoke the night before and you still have in your system the residual. It's different from alcohol, but doesn't mean that because you have residual means that you are impaired. That's not the point. I mean, how can you even enjoy to smoke something? Then if you're driving, they pull you over, they can mess with your life very easily right now. I'm pretty scared about the idea, seriously.
Yeah. Well, wow. They do mess with people's lives. What we have is a political repression. The current laws are used to repress the, not necessarily the left, but a certain set of people. Maybe the misfits get repressed.
Yeah.
And our state, which is basically a one-party state, the Republican Party state, the Democrats are just in tatters.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I tell you, this is a beyond political party. It should be everybody who believes in freedom and in the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. That should be our belief, in my opinion. And that's, seriously, you're not in danger anybody else. And I hate, honestly, I was so disgusted when I was driving around, for example, Mojave County, and they have a vote no on Prop 205. Do it for the kids. Save kids. What are you freaking talking about, the kids? Seriously. I mean, this is the most disgusting way to completely bring something that makes no sense. Like when the anti-gun people, we need to stop the Second Amendment. Doing it for the kids. What are you talking about? Kids, they are not allowed to drink alcohol. They are not allowed to drive cars. And of course, they are not allowed to smoke marijuana. So the same story. If you really want to believe in that stupid, contorted, mentality, we should also eliminate alcohol all the way. I mean,
yes.
I mean, why
yes.
not? Do it for the kids. I mean, are we
Yeah.
right now under Sharia law? And I tell you, no, I don't care about any religion. Everybody can believe whatever they want. But I have a problem when they start to completely use their religion, their beliefs, their morals into the legislative process and impose it on us. Okay? For example, you can be a Buddhist. Normally, Buddhists mind their business. I know that. Okay? Even many Christians, normally they live and let live. But there is some sort of different branches of whatever religion you may believe.
Well, one of the things that hurt Prop 205 is that the LDS church hierarchy just published and sent out a letter to all their wards to vote against Prop 205.
Yes, I read that.
And there's a lot of evidence that the church owns the private prisons, like the prison in Kingman area. And, from my research, I find that it rather interesting that about a population of 6.5% of the state is LDS, but about 60% of our elected officials are LDS members.
Yeah.
And Eddie Farnsworth, the guy who stopped any kind of marijuana reform for the last 6 years, is also an LDS member. The church is getting involved in our politics.
And question, are they a tax-exempt church? I'm just curious.
Oh, of course they are.
Wow.
And they've crossed the line with that letter. But, what can you do?
Well, I think, since we have here, we're supposed to be under the rule of law. I know that any other church would do something like that. They would be at least investigated. I think there should be at least an organization, or even just an individual, who completely denounce that and press charges. Because I believe that's wrong. That's completely wrong. If you're tax exempt, you're supposed not to be mingling and doing political activities like you're doing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So that's my point. And I tell you something, for me, I don't care. You can be LDS, LSD, whatever you want. It's your business. But the moment that you start to tell me how to live my life and judge me, you got a big problem, dude. I mean, seriously. I can stand the type of, as I said, I don't care which religion. But if you're a good Muslim and you really follow your book and you really believe that infidels, they're supposed to pay a tax like a dima, or they're supposed to be converted, or they're supposed to have their head chopped if they don't follow, you have a problem. I'm not going to be your friend. And the same story with a religion like this one right now. If you tell me you want to impose your morals, that I shouldn't drink coffee, good luck with that. Or you're really going to get me in trouble there.
Well, I truly love the Mormon people. I mean, they're trying to do the right thing, but they don't really realize what the church is doing. The members of the Mormon LDS church don't even know what the resources the church owns. They're kept in the dark about the finances. And the LDS Corporation is a $40 billion business. And from what I can see, they're also profiting off all the drug diversionary programs, the tasks. And for everybody that gets arrested in Arizona, the LDS Church makes a nickel for sure.
Wow.
Someday, somehow.
Well, this is true. I mean, as I said, I have a lot of Mormon friends that I know. And normally what they do, for example, I tell you the names, okay? She's been on my show, okay? Former Senator Karen Johnson, okay? Her and her husband, they are LDS, and I respect them very much. They believe whatever they want. They never try to impose any of their beliefs on me or anybody else.
Oh, they're wonderful people. I love them.
Okay, and I really believe they believe in freedom in the Constitution. That's the type of people I like. You can be any belief you want, but you respect each other. We all get along. That's the idea. Now, there are other people that I never really spend time with, but I see the way they judge you. I see the way they act, and that's, for me, the scary part. Because when somebody like, let's say, a legislator starts to tell me, even in the moment that maybe she may be tired at night, that we must do mandatory churches for our...
that comes from a Mormon talk mouthpiece.
Okay, I mean, are you kidding me? You can say that to young people, Don't tell that. I mean, first of all, she's supposed to be a constitutional, leader, a conservative constitution. Did she ever read the First Amendment? I mean, there is no way you can do anything like that. You should even talk out loud about that. That's scary,
Yeah.
But we have a problem. They are somehow, many of them, they don't use their brain, but they follow the leadership from above. And that's the scary thing sometimes I have when I see organizations like that then become a religious organization. But they become, for me, more a corporate structure organization using religion as an instrument of recruiting and, of course, also profiting. Because let's not forget, you want to give your 10% before taxes to a church, be happy, go ahead. But that's not my type of church I want, okay? I don't
want them building jails for my culture. I come from a German culture. We like to drink beer.
Yeah.
And we like, as you would like to drink your wine. And, this is what that makes us unworthy in the eyes of the powers that be. And then they look for ways to put the unworthy and profit from it in prison. And this is just, this is corruption.
Yeah, it is corruption. And I tell you, the only way, I want to use this show, as I said, many times I thought maybe, who cares? But, I think this is an opportunity, at least an opportunity to spread the information, start to think, start to really say, this is not about Republicans. Oh, you must be a Democrat if you believe in legalization. You're a liberal. No, I'm not liberal. You know very well, Dennis. I'm the last thing I'm probably the most individual, conservative person you can imagine. And, so conservative, I burn my Republican card, okay? Because I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm here for freedom. And I don't even smoke this stuff, okay? But maybe one day, maybe the next thing they may deprive me, the government or the mob, my sage. I said many times, I like to grow my herbs for cooking. I got my basil, the rosemary, I got my mint, I got sage. Just to let you know, guys, sage can be very hallucinogenic. You can smoke sage, you can start to have vision, and it's much worse than marijuana. I tell you, man. I have a friend of mine that really went down pretty bad with sage. Should we now outlaw also sage because some stupid may abuse it? No, thanks. No thanks, government, no thanks.
In my visits to the Capitol, one thing that I was always impressed with is how nicely the lawns are kept, and everybody's dressed around in orange jumpsuits and orange t-shirts with AZDC on the back. I thought at first I thought, that must be a band, ACDC, but that's Arizona Department of Corrections.
Yeah, the slaves.
The slaves.
Yeah.
And our government uses those people to do the groundskeeping at our state capitol, which is a good idea if you're a conservative because it costs less money.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a lover of freedom, and I'm a Democrat, I'm sorry to say it, I just think that we should have free men gardening our capitol.
But I agree with that. And, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not Republican. I tell you, there is a problem with these private prison workers. First of all, somebody's making a buck there. They're not completely free. You know that.
It makes sense for our state to use those people there. But where is the end? We could also be using them for road work. Why does the secretaries of our legislature have to be free people? They could be inmates. We have plenty of people that are qualified. We almost have 2% of our adult population behind bars every night.
Yeah, and my point also, when you have a private prison renting, because they get paid, by the way.
And all our uniforms are made for the Marines are made in prison.
Okay, so that's my
where
point.
Are the people? These things should be made by free people.
Yeah.
What we have here is it may be more efficient for slavery to be the economic system.
Yeah, and this is the point. This is not exactly free. Yeah, it costs less than a worker for sure.
Yeah,
but they still get it rented, and the profit goes to the private corporation that who rent these human beings. They're criminals, but they're technically still human beings. Okay, but they're treated like slaves because they work for free. Some of them they may say, I really like that because I want to get out of prison. I understand that. But
our 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Makes slavery permissible for anybody that's convicted of a crime.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
And therefore, they become the slave of the state. So our legislature, if it's controlled by some little goofy oligarchy, can just start creating laws. And it's often heard that in Arizona, you can get a felony for an evil look.
Yes, no, I understand. At least all I say, guys, no matter what party you are, let's start to think with our own brain, with our own heart. If you believe in freedom out there, a plant should be treated as a plant, like grapes, like alcohol, And the bottom line, there is a simple law. You should be able to do whatever you want with your body unless you infringe or let's say, you endanger somebody else. That's the
Well,
bottom line.
just the idea that, what I do with my body is something that the state is to be concerned with is a socialistic idea.
Exactly.
It says that what I do with my body is a state's property.
Exactly.
We are not free people. The state controls our bodies under this situation. The laws that we currently are existing under, the marijuana laws, are based upon a Supreme Court decision that was based on a 1937 decision that you couldn't grow wheat in your backyard because it would disrupt the commerce laws.
Wow. Think about that.
I mean, we are living in the Jim Crow era.
Yeah, and I also call this fascism because when there is the union between the state and the corporations, and there is a union, there is a collaboration here. We know very well that it's all connected. Legislators passed law that benefits anyway private corporations. In this case, for example, Big Pharma, that of course they hate to have free people smoking a plant when they can, they're gonna cut off a lot of their profit from their Big Pharma, drugs industry. And of course, also the private prison business, because there would be a lot of less customers. Now we would have probably at least, 50% of our prison would be empty because there are criminals with no crime. We don't.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing about nobody got hurt, but just because you have a
the
little
children
plant.
got hurt. I have friends that are right now in private prisons, and they have between them 5 children.
Yeah.
From 16 to 6.
Yeah.
And they're missing their fathers.
And everything else. Many lose their homes, lose their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot get a gun anymore. Think about it. Right now, I was talking with Mr. Wise the last few weeks ago. And normally I don't agree on everything with him, but on this one we agree. Even, of course, sometimes, I understand you guys, you're trying to do this and show that there is an aspect of revenues and taxation, but I'm a little more extreme than you probably about this one. I think no plan should be taxed. Screw the school. The school
all we're
board.
trying to do is make a deal with the citizens of Arizona.
I understand what you're trying to do, and you're trying to make some sort of, compromise, okay? But
yes.
my ideal would be screw you and your schools. If I want to smoke a plant, you don't need to tax me like a slave because it's a freaking plant. Leave me alone. If I want to grow my plants in my home, leave me the freak alone. Go to find your money for the school for somebody else. Okay, that's the bottom line. But that's another story. Regardless, I applaud you for what you're doing, for what you're trying to do, and more important, I hope more people in the near future we can get together, completely remove this separation, these walls of the party lines, and use our logic, use our heart, and more important, use the concept of freedom and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And the point that, first of all, nobody should be put in jail or supposed to have their property stolen without due process. Let's start with that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's your body. If you do not endanger others, only God can judge you. Simple as that. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. You're fine. Okay, we move on. Anyway, that's my point. Can you give a website where maybe you can get more information about Safe Arizona and all the things you're doing?
Well, what we're doing is we have a Facebook group called Arizonans for the Legalization of Cannabis. We have over 5,000 members in the group, and we're going to work on a political action committee. We believe that the Facebook is probably one of the most powerful networking tools, along with Twitter, and we saw what Donald Trump did with Twitter and Facebook, and we monkey see, monkey do, we're learning.
Okay. Listen, you're a Democrat. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. But I think I may know your answer, but I want to ask, who did you vote for during these elections?
I'm a Trump man.
Wow. So you're a Democrat voted for Trump.
Yeah, I'm not a socialist.
Oh, I know
I'm not a communist.
Well, you are like an old-fashioned Democrat then.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
That's the truth. I remember, I wasn't born here, but, I like to study history, and I watch videos, of course, of different presidents. And I remember the famous speech of President Kennedy, it's not what America can do for you, but what you can do for America. I mean, that was kind of a different mentality from today's Democrat. Am I right or wrong?
Bravo. Yes, we've seen the socialists take over the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And to me, it's very irritating, but it also looks like they've left it in shambles, and I see I'm an entrepreneur. When I see weakness, I see opportunity.
That's true. That's true. Listen, thank you very much, Dennis. I'm proud to be your friend, and I'm proud to stand with you in this struggle. This is the struggle not about marijuana. It's a struggle about freedom. Simple as
Liberty
that.
and justice for all.
Exactly. And please be in touch with me anytime you want to come back and share information. I really would like to have you on. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Was Dennis Bohlke from Phoenix, Arizona. As I said, this is not about drugs. This is not about, first of all, how can you even call marijuana, a plant, a drug? I can call the same way grape. Because after all, grape, if I ferment it, becomes a drug. Yes, because I can get drunk. I can get stoned with a beer. Or not maybe one, maybe few. Same story with wine. So it's about freedom. Also say, be responsible. With freedom comes responsibility. As I said, I smoked marijuana only one time or maybe two when I was 18. And I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I don't like it. It doesn't work with my metabolism. I enjoy a good glass of wine. That's what works for me. Maybe a good beer, organic beer. But the point is not about me. It is not about you. It is about freedom. Okay? Nobody should become criminal because you own or you smoke a plant when there is no victim of that crime. Because there is no crime. That's the reality. So that's why I say, please, mostly I would like to talk to the people that call themselves conservatives, call themselves constitutionalists or Republicans. If you really believe in freedom, if you believe government shouldn't tell you what you can drink. Like, for example, look what happened in New York under Bloomberg. He was telling you how much salt you can have, how many sodas you can have. Screw you, all the way, no apology. No government should do that, okay? The bottom line, of course, if I eat too much salt and if I have high pressure, guess what? Or if I get diabetes, I should be able to pay for my bills. That's a fact. All right, listen, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, ready for the final part of hour number 3. It's always a pleasure to be with you here on the air. Don't go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Luca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Luca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to